Hello, Year 10, and welcome to week 2 of online learning. The work that will be assigned to you for this week ahead has been built into one document below. All the activities and just about the links to these resources will be embedded into this document unless stated otherwise. And below is a lesson schedule you'll need to follow in order to complete this document. This document does need to be submitted via Google Classroom. It does not have to be submitted until the 2 lessons have been completed. Okay, and I would like you to submit this by 3 p.m. on Friday, the 23rd of July. So, the content that you'll be looking at includes factors influencing business decisions and the contribution of entrepreneurship and innovation. So, there's a bit of key terminology here that we might not all understand. So, I might just go through a little bit of that now. So, lesson 1 requires you to read through some information. So, one of the factors, or I should just quickly go through the 3 factors that influence business decisions, and they include technology, the business cycle, and down below, globalization. So, these are 3 factors which will influence a business's decision making. So when we talk about technology, we're talking about technological advances, and you would have seen it a lot now, but it's changed many aspects of business, whether it be administration, tasks, communication, and the manufacturing process. With appropriate technology, businesses can increase efficiency, productivity, create new products, and improve the quality and range of products and services. Okay. A great and relevant example of this right now is schools. Okay, schools are a business. Okay, and they are a business providing a service, and that service is, of course, education. Right now, we are in remote learning. Okay, maybe if this happened 10, 15 years ago, okay, the process of using Google Classroom or screen recording would not be possible. Okay, therefore, this technological advancement has really improved the way we can deliver education, and not only that, other services can be delivered as well. Okay, online shopping at the moment, especially grocery shopping, has really taken off with people avoiding going to the shops. And that's an example of how technology can influence a business's decision making. Technology such as teleconferencing or video conferencing, email, cloud computing, Google Drive, smartphones effectively eliminates the distance between people and creates opportunities for more flexible work arrangements that are beneficial for both the employee and the employer. Right now, about 90% or even 80% of people are working from home where they can. And, due to the advancements in technology, okay, people have the ability now to communicate with their bosses, their managers, and colleagues alike, and are able to complete their tasks while working from home. And this is very advantageous from a business perspective because they are saving through the cost of running the office or having the office open if they own that office block or that facility. And at the same time, that's being placed on the onus of the employee. I'll go through the business cycle now, and this becomes an important one because the business cycle, I have to explain what it is to you first before I explain how it will affect the actual business itself and their decision making. So imagine your local shopping centre, okay, to be a small-scale representation of the Australian economy. Now imagine what would happen to the businesses within the shopping centre if all their customers decided to shop at another centre for a day. Economic disaster. If this situation continued for a month, the centre's business would close, employees would be laid off, and landlords and suppliers would not be paid. Eventually, as this so-called economy plunged into a recession, business owners would lose confidence in the economy's future. However, at the rival shopping centre, new businesses would open, many new jobs would be created, landlords and suppliers would gain new customers, and the confidence of the local business owners would soar. the economy of this shopping centre would boom. While such an extreme situation will not happen in reality, the Australian economy does experience a cycle of booms and busts. These periods of high and low economic activity are referred to as the business cycle. After a period of prosperity or growth, business activity gradually slows down until a recession or a depression is reached. Okay, if you look at this graph here, so after a period of growth or a boom, okay, eventually this will stop, and there's only one way down from up, and that is down. Okay, and when we are on the downward slope, okay, it will reach a recession, okay, or a depression. And saying that when the market reaches a boom, so this is a period of prosperity or growth, okay, well then that is a period, that drop is referred to as a contraction. When the market starts to pick up again, okay, and starts to grow, that is known as an expansion, okay, the expansion of the market. A recession is where an economy gets smaller for a period of 6 months or longer. A depression, on the other hand, is a long and severe recession. Okay, as you can see here, a depression is a severe decline in the overall economic growth of a country, okay, or a business. Eventually, a business will always pick up again until prosperity is restored. So that completes the whole business cycle. So if you look at the share prices of several companies, okay, I guess in a way you can compare it to that, and you'll see that every day it changes and go up and down. Whereas the economy, okay, it's in the balance and it happens over a period of time. Okay, so there could be maybe a decline in the market today, but that's only a slight decline, and that decline may result in a period of growth tomorrow. But these sharp areas of decline you can see here, that's over a period of months, okay, or even a year or so. So during COVID-19, I'm sure yourselves, you could probably figure out what happened then, okay, and what has happened now. If you are reading or have been listening to the news lately, Australia's economy was rated a AAA economy by Standards & Poor, the S&P, which is a ratings agency in the US. Okay, they rate the company's credit, and a AAA credit rating is the highest you can have. And they're one of the only countries in the world to have a AAA credit rating during this time. At the same time, unemployment in Australia for the month of June had declined down to 4.9%. That is the lowest unemployment rate for Australia since 2011. Okay, in over a decade, and that's a pretty strong figure. Although we can see that figure change due to this lockdown this month. Okay, this cycle is a basic feature of our economic system. So when the market is contracting and when it's decreasing, there are falling levels of production or output. There's decreased consumer spending, the rate of inflation may fall, wage rates generally fall, interest rates eventually fall, and the level of unemployment rises. When the market is expanding, on the other hand, we'll see rising levels of production, increased consumer spending, the rate of inflation may rise, wage rates generally rise as well. You'll see a rise in the interest rates, and the level of unemployment falls. No economic system works perfectly all the time. The level of economic activity fluctuates and moves up and down. In other words, total production, income, spending, and employment rise and fall. The fluctuations are caused by changes in the total level of spending. So consumer spending, so how much money people are putting into retail markets or how much money people are putting into their investments. Okay, this includes also business investments and government spending and exports within the economy. This all affects the overall economic activity. The business cycle has a significant impact on business. When economic problems start to appear, we as consumers become more cautious with the way we spend our money. The reduced spending has an impact on business, and profits start falling and cost cutting must occur if they are to survive. Unfortunately, this cost cutting can be in the form of retrenching workers, therefore, the economy falls further into recession. Alternatively, when evidence shows a growing economy, confidence returns. The consumer is more willing to purchase consumer or luxury goods, which in turn sees spending levels rise and business profits improve. So, when we are in a recession, you are likely to see less and less spending from people and more saving. During the 2008 global financial crisis, Kevin Rudd introduced a stimulus payment. If I can recall, it's probably in the $50 billion range to $70 billion, which were paid out to families to encourage spending. And this spending really helped Australia turn the economy around and helped a period of growth during that time. And we didn't see such drastic changes to our economy as the American market did. The whole American housing market collapsed and unemployment in America soared above 10%. One important factor to consider in terms of the business cycle is that not all businesses experience a fall in revenue and sales during a recession, nor do they necessarily experience an upswing in trade during a boom period. The businesses most susceptible to the swings are those consumers selling luxury goods, such as luxury cars or jewelry, because consumers will cut back on these when they reduce overall spending. Some businesses fare during a recession, for example, food staples like grocery stores, along with bargain shops or other clearance outlets. Again, if you look at COVID-19, you probably would not have been shopping at Pandora or JD Sports during that time. However, stores like Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, Costco, Reject Shop, they saw large increases in their overall sales. In fact, the share price of the Reject Shop saw its biggest jump and biggest growth in its whole running. In the whole running of the Reject Shop business. And this is because of what was going on in the economy. So, although we may have been experiencing a contraction during that period of time, some businesses did benefit from this. And even in the period of growth, places like Woolworths are always going to experience growth. They're always going to experience that customer flow coming through into their business. But businesses such as Cotton On, JD Sports, as I mentioned, Mecca, Meyer, David Jones, they all saw a cutback in their sales. And that fall in revenue during this recession, it really did affect those businesses quite heavily. And looking down here, this little mind map, I guess that we can call it, it shows what happens during a recessionary cycle and a boom cycle. So in a recessionary cycle, there is evidence of a contracting market or economy, so a shrinking economy that's in a steady decline. And with this, we can see rising unemployment, decreased economic growth, and falling inflation. Consumers become more cautious, spending and consumer confidence fall. Reduced spending by consumer affects businesses as profits fall as well. Cost cutting must occur. Workers may be retrenched, adding to the economic problems. And when workers are retrenched or out of work, well, that allows or forces the government to enact financial it will allow them to, or it will rather force them to enact financial change or policies to coincide with what has happened with the market. So during coronavirus, okay, the job seeker and job keeper allowances were raised to about $1,500 a fortnight to try and combat this recession and the period of decline that Australia was in. So overall, you can see how there is a drastic effect in a contracting economy, not only on people, on businesses, and the government as well. Thus, why it's called the recessionary cycle. In a boom cycle, we see an expanding economy. Okay, coming out of coronavirus, okay, you'll see falling unemployment, increased economic growth, and rising inflation. Consumer confidence returns and spending increases. Increased spending will increase business profits. Businesses can increase production and will require workers as well. So, even then, okay, you can probably think of instances or examples now of how coming out of the boom cycle, how Australia has experienced a boom cycle recently, and what was the fallout of this as well. So that itself is the business cycle explained. Okay, and we will be going through this in much more depth in a few weeks' time. Globalization. This is the process by which the world is becoming increasingly more interconnected as a result of increased trade and cultural exchange. It involves the reducing of barriers to trade, investment, and labor across national borders, and can have both positive and negative implications for business. I will let you read that on your own. Scrolling down to lesson 2 now. Okay, 2 terms here that you'll look at is entrepreneurship and innovation. I won't read the whole thing to you, but in simple terms, entrepreneurship is about a person who's willing to take a risk and the qualities required to turn an idea into a successful business. Okay, so if you have a brilliant idea, okay, maybe something no one's heard of before, okay, and you turn it into a business, okay, you are an entrepreneur. Okay, someone who starts their own business is an entrepreneur as well. So, I guess you could say the person who invented Uber Eats or Deliveroo, okay, they were really smart thinkers and entrepreneurs. Okay, other famous entrepreneurs in the world include Ray Kroc, Phil Knight, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Okay, these are great examples of entrepreneurs who had an idea and did something about them and have grown a business. Okay, I won't give away too much, but that's what your work will revolve around for lesson 2. The other term for lesson 2 that you need to know about is innovation. So when we talk about innovation, we are talking about improving or significantly contributing to an existing product or service. So when you innovate, you are rebranding or you are recreating the product to meet an evolving market or an evolving target group you're selling to. So an example of that, if you look at the iPhone, for example, well, they come up with a new iPhone every year. Okay, that is innovation, at its finest example. The introduction of electric cars, that's another example of innovation as well. These innovations, it really helps shape the market and the way businesses run, because if you're not innovative now in the 21st century, well then you are setting yourself up to be behind already as a business owner. If you do not have FPOS facilities in your workplace, well then you are really disadvantaging yourself, because then you inconvenience the customer to go and withdraw or force them just to go to a shop that does accept FPOS. If a business doesn't have online shopping available for them, okay, it may increase store sales, but at times where you have to remain closed, such as Christmas or Boxing Day, where trading is seized for some companies, well, you can't trade online, and that really disadvantages you from that extra income or revenue that you can generate. So, this is lesson 1 and lesson 2 summarized. I hope I have explained everything well enough to you. If you have any questions, just post on the classroom page or private comment or email me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, thank you and stay safe.